Hi students, welcome to the first English class of this academic year. As you all know, in this current situation, we are not able to conduct the normal classes. You don't have to come to school nowadays. You don't have to carry your books, lunch, etc. for a few days. And all you have to do is to sit in a room, take your mobile phone, turn on the video classes and listen and watch them attentively. Okay, now we can start our first English class with the first poem in our textbook. In the first unit of our English textbook, you can see two chapters. First one is a story and the second one is a poem. And we are going to begin our class with the poem that you can see in your textbook, in the first unit of your textbook. And the name of the poem is The Ant and the Cricket. Actually, this story is a fable. You may know what a fable is. Fables are the stories that include the animals as characters. The stories with animals as characters, and they teach us a moral. Some moral will be there in a fable. You have studied a lot of fables in your lower classes, and you might have heard and read in your childhood many fables, and all of them give us a moral to learn in our life. So here, the story that we are going to study, the poem that we are going to study is actually taken from Aesop's Fables. Have you heard this name, Aesop? Then Aesop was a Greek fabulist and storyteller. He had written several stories, a lot of stories he had written. And all these stories are collectively called Aesop's Fable. And in this story, in this poem, as the title suggests, there are two characters, the ant and a cricket. You may be aware of or you know well about these two insects. Both of them are small insects. Ants are very industrious and hard-working insects. They work hard. Whenever we see them, they will be working, they will be indulged in any kind of work. But whereas the cricket is just the opposite of ant. Ants are hard-working, but crickets are very lazy. How do they spend their time? They sing always, they dance always. Every time that we see a cricket, you can hear its voice, its singing. So it likes to spend its time by singing and dancing. So that is the poem about. We can go to the poem.
Okay, dear students, we can go into the poem in detail. The Ant and the Cricket. Like I said earlier, a fable is a story, often with animals as characters, that conveys a moral. This poem about an ant and a cricket contains an idea of far-reaching significance. It means that this poem with the characters ant and a cricket, it includes an idea of far-reaching significance. It has a lot of importance, which is as true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged one. It may be a bit confusing, this sentence, but I will explain it later. Surely you have seen a cricket that has two legs. Now we can read the poem. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain, and a mouthful of grain he wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow. We ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter over. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have four legs, and some have two. Okay, students, now I will explain the poem for you in detail. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring. So, you can see in the first line of the poem itself, the main character, one of the main characters, the young cricket is being introduced. And that young cricket has an habit. He accustomed to sing. It means he used it to sing. He had an habit of singing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring. The two seasons, the two very pleasant and happy seasons, summer and spring. Through these two seasons, he always sang very merrily. Began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Then what happened? The next season, very painful and bad season, winter has arrived. So, when the winter came, he began to complain. Why? Because when he realized that at his home his cupboard was empty, his shelf was empty, nothing is there remaining to eat. Not a crumb to be found on the snow covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. You may know that, unlike in our Indian context, the winter season is very harsh and very difficult to survive because everything, even the trees, ground, and everything will be covered with snow. No food will be grown, and no leaves will be there, no flowers will be there. So, not a crumb to be found. The crumb means that the small pieces of bread, cakes, etc. So nothing, not a even single piece of a food item is not there. It can't be seen, it can't be found anywhere on the snow covered ground. Every place, every ground is covered with the snow. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? The cricket thinks, what will happen to me because I have nothing to eat. So, what will happen to me? At last, by starvation and famine made bold, at last he decided to go and ask someone for food. So, why did he think so? Because he was starving. Starvation, being hungry. Starvation means being hungry because of the lack of food. And famine. Famine means the scarcity of food. So, with these two things, because of starvation and famine, made bold. He became very bold and courageous because of this, and all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold. So he began to walk. He began to walk to the house of ant, and while he was going, his body was dripping with the snowfall and all trembling with the cold. Because of the heavy cold, he was completely shivering. Away he set off. Set off means he went to a miserly ant. Miser means one who doesn't spend the money or something. One who is not ready to give something to someone. So that type of persons are called, such type of persons are called miser. So our ant was a miser one. He was not ready to give anything to anyone. To see if to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain. So when he went to the house of the ant, he was thinking, he had a hope that he can ask something to eat to keep him alive. If he doesn't get anything to eat, surely he will die. So he hoped he would the ant would give him, grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain, a little amount of grain, of wheat, of rice, etc. He wished only to borrow. His intention was just to borrow from the ant, and he would repay it tomorrow. When he gets the grain or something to eat, he will surely give it back. He would surely repay it to the ant. That was his intention. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. If the ant doesn't give him anything, if he doesn't get anything to eat, he must die. He will die surely of starvation and sorrow, because of the starvation and because of his sadness, sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend. But we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. So when the ant heard the request of the cricket, he said, I am your servant and friend. O my cricket, I agree that I am your friend and I am your servant too. But we ants never borrow. But we ants have a peculiarity. We have a character. We have a specialty. It is that we ants never borrow anything from anyone. And we ants never lend. So also we are not ready to lend our things to anyone. We are not asking anything from anyone, and we are not ready to give anything to anyone. That is our policy. So I can't give you anything. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Then he asked to the cricket, oh cricket, tell me, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? So the phrase lay nothing by means to save nothing. He is asking, when the weather was warm, when it was summer, I worked a lot. I gathered my food for the winter. And didn't you gather anything? Didn't you save anything for this winter season? Quoth the cricket, not I. Then the cricket quoth. Quoth is actually an English word, an old English word. It means said. He said, the cricket said, not I. Sorry, I didn't save anything. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and danced the winter away. My heart was so light. The cricket says that my heart was so happy in the summer season, in the spring season, that I sang day and night. So, because of my heart's light moments, I sang every time. For all nature looked gay, because the nature was looking very gay. Gay means here happy and beautiful. The nature was very beautiful, looked very beautiful. So I sang my entire time. You sang, sir? You say? Then the ant asked him. You said you were singing, sir? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. This line is actually a sarcasm. He is mocking. He is mocking at the cricket. He says that, okay, you spent your summer and spring by singing. Then go then and dance the winter away. You can do that thing itself now in the winter also. You go and dance your winter away. So that is actually a sarcasm. The ants collected, gathered, and saved everything for this winter season. But at the same time, the cricket was merrily singing and dancing without saving anything for the future. So the ants actually mocking him. You says you were singing, then you do that thing now also. Don't ask me anything. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket. So at last, he hastily lifted the wicket. Wicket means a small door or window. He opened the door, he lifted the door, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. He kicked him out of his house, out of his door. This is the actually story. Then the author says that folks call this a fable. Folks means people. People call this a fable. People call this a story. I will warrant it true. But the poet says that his opinion is that I will prove it true. I will prove this story is true. Some crickets have four legs and some have two. This was the thing that I said earlier that I will explain later. I would explain later. It means that some crickets have four legs. Actually, every crickets have four legs. And then he says that some have two. What it means? It means that not only the crickets, but the two-legged human beings. We human beings are the creatures that walk on the two legs. So some human beings are also like this cricket. They are just living in the present. They are not ready to collect or to save anything for the future. So this attitude of the people is being criticized by the poet in the last line. He is actually criticizing, criticizing the attitude of people who do not look into the future. So like this cricket, some people are behaving. He says that the moral of the story is that we should be industrious and hardworking like the ants, unlike the cricket.
Okay, my students, that's this poem about, and I hope all of you have understood it well. And now you have to read it a few times, then work out the questions given in the text. Thank you. Have a nice day.